Let's get our tarot cards out and do a full moon tarot reading together. Today is July 10th, and it is a full moon in Capricorn. So pause this video for a hot second and go get your deck, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a breathing exercise so that we can soften our minds and open it up to whatever the tarot has to tell us. So now that you've got your deck, breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, so now this is the spread that we're going to be doing. I actually pull a 7th card for it, the card at the bottom of the deck. So what I do with my also shuffling, I shuffle 9 times. So feel free to shuffle 9 times yourself or whatever your shuffling preference is. And then let's pull some cards together. In 2 weeks, what we're going to do is we'll do a reflection video on it as well and see how things have shaped up. Now, something to remember about the full moons is that the full moons are a time for us to release something that no longer serves us. So as we go through this spread, let's try to think about what we might want to think about releasing or what the universe is telling us to release. Where am I at right now? I have the Strength card. To me, the Strength card is about making peace with my inner animal, my animal instincts. Also just strength in general. Making friends or being comfortable with my inner demons. And just also reflecting about where my strengths lie. So I do think over the next couple of weeks, I need to focus a little bit more on my strengths, or at least remember what my strengths actually are. Something to also pay attention with the Strength card is that it is associated with the Sun and Leo and the element of fire, which is our my aspirations and my creative energy and my passions. What's influencing me is the Moon reversed. Now with a reversed card, I've got blocked, delayed, healing, or internal energy. The Moon to me is more about light, a light that is sort of shining, but I still need to shine some light on some dark spaces so that I make sure I don't trip and fall. Seems to be some dark spaces that something might be coming out from around the corner to scare me, kind of a situation. Like look at those wolves there behind me. I got something going on there. But again, with this internal thing, what's influencing me, I think is there is some emotions that are coming up about my tarot practice that I am scared of, which I still like tarot. It's just there are things about it that I am scared to share, and I think I need to open myself up to that. Something else to consider with the Moon is that the card, is associated with Neptune and Pisces, also an element of water. So, more emotions. What have I created since the last new moon? So I have a Page of Cups. A lot of emotions and internal stuff kind of came up in the last new moon cycle. So I think that I've been building up to getting to know my emotions a lot more, a lot better, and having a stronger relationship with who I am in my physical body, or even feeling my emotions as well. So I think that kind of makes sense to me. So what have I created is just a more emotional, a more stable, or able to listen. Pages are the listeners of the tarot, or the learners of the tarot. So I think I'm actually starting to pay attention a little bit more to my emotions than I have in the past. What is no longer serving me? The Death card. Oh gosh. So the Death card does not actually mean death. The Death card actually means change. Something needs to die in order for something to grow. Because I've got the Death card in reverse, we've got blocked, delayed, healing, or internal energy. I do feel like the Death card is probably telling me that I'm blocking some changes. I'm probably scared to make some changes in my life, scared to make some changes in my video content. And by making those changes and embracing those changes, I will probably be able to release what no longer serves me and build something that's more meaningful to myself and more authenticity. Something else to pay attention to the Death card with is I've got Pluto and Scorpio that is associated with it, and also the element of water, which is also our emotions, or my emotions. How can I release and let go of this energy? Well, I mean, this kind of makes sense to me. It's there's some nightmares going on. There's some anxieties. Again, we've got blocked, delayed, healing, or internal energy. I just kind of need to block that inner voice. There's an inner voice in me that is scared. There's an inner voice in me that is telling me not to do, not to share, not to say. And I think that the more I can dip into me versus leaning on what other people say about me, or other people's tarot structures, or other people's way of reading, or other people's way of life, I think the more that I can just go into my own is a better way of doing where I want to go in my life. What can I learn during this cycle? I've got the High Priestess. Oh, so I need to learn to pay a little bit more into my intuition, probably following it a little bit more. I do it fairly well recently. I kind of allow myself to kind of just go with the flow as much as possible, but I think I'm being told to go a little bit further into that, or at least try to go more into my own intuition versus the anxieties that's in my chest and the thoughts that are in my head. Something else to consider with the High Priestess is that she is associated with the moon and also water, so more emotions. Like I said, the card at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. Blocked, delayed healing or internal energy. Wands are about fire, or associated with fire, and fire is our creative passions, our energies, and our aspirations. So with mine, I think that I need to... There's a way of like internalizing what my aspirations are, or at least pausing to know what my aspirations are, instead of just like I need to plan it more a little bit and figure out what that means to me, I think. Because I've kind of figured it out, but what I've realized as I'm doing the artist's way as well is that I've never really had a future that I could picture, and I'm slowly getting that picture back, or at least forming that picture, putting that puzzle together. But with the Knight of Wands in reverse, I think I need to focus a little bit more on me and what my picture looks like during this next cycle. So overall, it looks like water and fire are my number one. Water and emotions are my number one thing, but fire seems to be the next thing that I need to pay attention to, which is my creative passions and my aspirations. But emotions, a lot of emotions seem to be coming up, especially as I'm doing the artist's way. It feels like I'm releasing some layers of emotional turmoil, emotional trauma that I've held on to for so long, and I'm working really hard to let some of that go. And since we're working on with the full moon is about releasing what no longer serves us. So I think that this does so far warn me or tell me what I need to focus on. What did you get?